Hey, I'm Jeroen from the Lux Lab, and after watching this video you'll know exactly how to color grade your DJI D-Lok footage to go from this to this, and we'll get you access to a free starter pack which includes 2 looks and the DJI D-Lok conversion LUT. So let's get started. First things first, you're gonna have to download our free starter pack, which is the first link in our description. Once you click the first link in our description, you will be brought to this page where you can find this little form. All you have to do is enter your name and email, then just click get free starter pack and you'll be able to download the files instantly, and we also send you an email with the download link in case you want to use it on a different device. Now head over where you saved the file and you'll see that this is a zip file, which means that we're going to have to unzip it or uncompress it. On Mac, simply double click it. On Windows, you might have to right click and find unzip or uncompress. Now open up the unzipped folder and you'll see that we have 3 files. We have our cinematic look 7, which is one of our normal looks, which can be applied to any camera as long as it's filmed in normal color mode or log is converted to normal colors before applying this one. Then we have our DJI D-Lok to Rec 709, which is the conversion LUT to go from D-Lok to normal looking colors. And then we have our D-Lok Combo TL14, which means this is our D-Lok combination LUT for Travel Look 14. Our combination LUTs combine the conversion and the creative look into one, which makes it super easy to use because in one click you can go from D-Lok to a color graded clip, especially if you edit on your phone. You won't be able to use 2 LUTs on your phone, you can only use one, and that's exactly why we made our combination LUTs. Now we're going to open up CapCut, we're going to head over to Adjustment, choose LUT, and click on Import. We're going to head over to where we saved the starter pack, we're going to import all 3 of the files. Now the first method I'm going to show you is the best method and the most flexible method, but this only works if you're editing on either an iPad or a computer in, for example, CapCut, DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, because you need to be able to apply 2 LUTs to your videos. So the first step always is to go from D-Lok back to normal looking colors. People sometimes ask then why do we have to film in D-Lok if we're just going to bring it back to normal looking colors, and that is because if we film in normal color mode we only have that information, but if we film in D-Lok and then go to normal color mode or normal looking colors, then we have all of the extra information that we record in D-Lok which we wouldn't have if we film in normal color mode, and we bring it back to normal color mode so we can apply a look that was made for normal color mode. So the first thing we're going to do is apply our conversion LUT, so our DJI D-Lok to Rec 709. Just press the plus icon and then take this layer and stretch it to cover all of your D-Lok clips. In case you have a clip that's recorded in a different format, maybe on your iPhone or something, make sure that this layer doesn't cover that clip, because then that clip is going to look completely off. Once that is done, you'll see that we go from flat to normal looking colors. You can use this little eye icon on the left side to see before and after. And then the second step is to simply apply our creative look, which in our starter pack is the cinematic look 7. Again, just press the plus icon and drag it to cover all of your clips. And now you'll see that once I apply this, it doesn't look right yet. Yes, it's a lot more colorful and a little bit more warm, but it's too strong. So we're gonna head over here and adjust basic LUT, and we're going to find intensity, and we're going to drag this down to about 60 in this case. You can just choose whichever number you like. Maybe you're like 70 is already good, let's do 65, and we'll quickly go over the other clips and you'll see this, for example, looks pretty good. Nothing's overexposed, nothing's too dark. Maybe a little tweaking could be done here, and we might have to change a little bit here as well. Now this final step is probably the most important step if you want your footage to look the best it possibly can, and that is to color correct or balance out your footage. As you can see in this clip, this area is now fully overexposed. Even with this off, you can see that when we apply our conversion LUT, this is overexposed. But since we filmed in D-Lok we can now go ahead and correct this footage and bring back a lot of the detail that was there before. So to correct your footage, always select the clip itself and then head over to Adjust, Basic, and scroll down. Now in this case, the most important thing we need to do is lower the highlights for this area, because this is all overexposed. And you'll see once I grab the highlights and drag them down, we get back a lot of detail. We see the little clouds here and the sky is blue again instead of just white. And then what I like to do is maybe up the shadows a tiny bit to make it a little less dark, but maintain good contrast. And you'll see that these 2 small changes make your footage look a lot better. So this is before, blown out sky, doesn't really look right. 2 small changes to the sliders, and now your footage looks a lot better. We'll showcase this again in the second clip, where again we see that this area is overexposed as well as a lot of this building, and this is a coincidence, but it's not always going to be the same settings you're going to need to change. But for this I would also grab the highlights and drag them down a little bit, and you'll see that this is now a lot less harsh as well as the building itself. And since this is a little bit dark, we're gonna again up the shadows a tiny bit. This also brings out some more details on the bottom here. And again, these two small changes do make a noticeable difference that make your footage just feel a lot better when looking at it. And again, on this last clip, I'll go in and see what needs changing. So I'm thinking upping the shadows a little bit more. Again, reducing those highlights. These are the two settings I use the most. And if, for example, your footage looks too orange from just having the wrong white balance, for example, you can correct that here with the stem slider. And again, just these two small changes is probably all I would do to this clip. If you really want to get deep into this, I would suggest not using CapCut, but using, for example, DaVinci Resolve, where you can adjust a lot more, add mask to, for example, adjust the sky separately, adjust this side separately, adjust all of these other areas separately. But for beginners, this is more than enough to get your footage to look 90% of the way there. Now I'm gonna delete these two layers and I'll showcase you how easy it is to use our combination LUTs, but bear in mind this option is less flexible because you can't reduce the intensity. When we've made these, we reduce the intensity of the creative look and fuse them together with the conversion LUT. But this always needs to be at 100% because otherwise the conversion isn't done properly if it's not at 100. So again, all you have to do, press the plus icon, stretch it to fit all your clips, and then you'll be able to see before, after, one click, one layer. And if I turn off the basic settings that we adjusted, you'll see that this is a little bit overexposed, but when I turn them back on, we get a nice blue sky again, and this is not overexposed anymore. Same here, tiny difference, but it makes your footage just feel a lot better. Now our starter pack just has two looks, our cinematic look 7 and our travel look 14, but we have a full look bundle with 100 unique looks, 12 DJI combination LUTs, and those same 12 looks for iPhone as well. So if you tried our starter pack and follow this tutorial along and you like the looks but you want more options, let me show you what that would look like for you. So I'm going to delete the starter pack ones and we're going to click import again and grab our look bundle. And if I open this up, you'll see that we have conversion looks for Apple, Canon, Sony, D-Cinelite, GoPro, Fujifilm, Panasonic, Nikon, for all the major camera brands. And then we have cinematic look, essence look, hybrid look, movie look, travel look, and vintage look. So we can select all of them and choose open. And this will import all of the LUTs inside of CapCut. You only have to do this once and then you'll be able to use them at any point in time without having to re-import them again. Perfect, so I'm gonna delete that layer again. And we're gonna apply our DJI D-Look M conversion LUT again so we can try out some of our 100 looks. You'll see that this is the cinematic look 7 that was in our starter pack, but we also have a ton of other options. For example, our cinematic look 18. We have one that's a little bit more green, cinematic look 17. In essence look, we have the first ones are very minimal. You'll see it just adds a little bit of contrast, nothing too crazy. But when we use Essence Look 11, you'll see that it's a lot warmer. So we have a ton of different options, and they all change the color of your footage in a ton of different ways. So if you want access to all of these different looks so you can choose which fits your style the best, just head over to the second link in our description and grab our full look bundle. I hope you now fully understand how to color grade your DJI D-Look M footage using our looks inside of CapCut. And if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments and we'll reply to you as soon as possible.